Okay, so I'm headed back in to start up a conversation. This is something I wanted to do like this other day that I went live, but there wound up not being any sound on this video that I was trying to do. Yeah, I'm coming back for that now. I'm coming back to do that now. Mama, have a seat. Okay, where is Mama? Where is my notebook? Huh? Where my notebook? I know it was you. Oh, you threw it way over there. How hateful could you be? Oh, my baby, my baby, my baby. Give me a minute. I sure hope my behind wasn't out too much, but we're gonna find out once we see the live. Okay, so as I wait to get ready to edit my video, as it shows up live, I am going. Okay, I want to do something. I ain't gonna be able to do it. Oh, thank goodness nobody saw nothing. Okay, awesome. I will not be able to do this until after I'm finished. So I'm gonna preface this live by calling it um I'm gonna call it "The Word Was Always in the Woman." That's what I'm gonna call that. It is my intention to start a little series pointing out pointing out the female and feminine principle of God. Now, the reason that I feel that there is a need to do this is because I feel like they have done it for a very long time in respect to men and in respect to the masculine principle. Um, and I also feel like with the direction of the world as we know it, it's going back to the beginning, going back to the original. And the original was the matriarch, the original was the mother, the woman. So we're going to go back there. Now, I'm going to kind of be all over the place. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. I am going to be all over the place because I'm going to be basically remembering information and downloads that I got during meditation and conversations with myself, or should I say the God in me. So, when I first started asking Spirit about why women are treated the ways that we have been treated, because I had started seeing this uptick and increase in brutality against women. I had already seen it against Black men, period, in general. That made me ask my first question about what the heck is going on? Why are they killing us for sport? Whoop de doo. That led me into the dynamics of the Bible as if it were a saga and a story about a family divided, a family where there's betrayal, where there's love, where there's triumph and tragedy, an underdog, and all this other type of stuff. Okay. And so, with that being said, the people who look like us, we look like we're the underdogs, but we're really the ruling class. And we always were. And we always will be. I'm going to say it again. People who look like me, we are the ruling class, always were, always will be. And so the others who come from us, there is a sense of sibling rivalry. There is a sense of envy that comes with that and hatred that comes with that. You know, kind of like Joseph, who had the coat of many colors, and he had his father's favor out of the so-called 12 tribes of Israel, which is also the sons and daughters of God. Yeah, The sons and daughters of God are us, okay? The people, it's creation. It depicts the different races, if you will. And there is a race that is considered to be chosen of God. That race, in my humble opinion, just so happens to be the melanated peoples of the world. And then there's even more specificity within the melanated peoples of the world, which is the reason why you can still see, quote unquote, which I hate for people to bring it up because the other nations of people have crime within their communities too. But this is why you can also see so called black on black crime. But it is because everyone who has this mark, this sign of divinity in that way, they're not all related, they're not all kinfolk. And I mean that by way of their energy, the spirit. So I digress. Moving on. Me asking the questions about why things were happening to us led me to, oh, you sleepy. Okay, mama, come on. Let me help my baby out. Hold on, you guys. Let me help her. She's so tired. Come on, lay on mommy. She about to fall out. It's okay. It's okay, mama. Okay. As I was stating, basically just talking about the dynamics that are in the family. Okay. There is envy, there's jealousy, there are people feeling like they are more worthy of the position that the gods have given to us. Okay? And so because they have not been in this position of power for a very long time and they're not going to hold on to it, it's going to return to those that it is meant to go to. Those who have power now are doing the best that they can to hold on to it, utilizing a lot of different tactics. But the biggest tactic is to um, hide information and also insert themselves into places where they do not belong. So I digress. Then it moved into this concept of women just being just done so wrong for a lot of this age. And not even just this one, but the ages that we didn't even live in, the ones that are known as the times of the scriptures. Okay, so anyway, the first word study that I had done, this was back in 2025. I was looking into the word female. It may come across as random, but thank goodness nothing is ever really random. But I was looking into the word for female or feminine, and that word, the root Hebrew word for that, the letters are N in English, B, and H. In Hebrew, these letters would be Nun, Bet, or He. The next word I wound up seeing is NQ as I was looking for NBH, but NBH means prophetess. So I think that the reason why that's important to note, the reason why that's important to note is it's just a prophetess is just a woman, a wife, a woman, a maid, a woman. You know what I mean? Um, Mommy, you're probably not gonna get comfortable up here. Let me see if I can move some things around so my girl can get comfortable. Hold on, you guys. I gotta lay her down. Okay, let's keep it to it. NQH is the next uh, word that I have here. And I also think NQ, I have the page numbers for the books that I was reading at the time. NQ, let's go to page 189 in the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon. 189. So this is what I do to help me jog my memory. If I remember, I write the page numbers of the places that I find stuff so that I can go back to it. All right, so here is NQ. Now remember, the word that I was looking into at this time was female. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but NQ I think is this one right here. All right, so let's get into it. You ain't going to be able to see that, but that's what I'm about to be reading from. NQ 1318 in the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon, the Hebrew letters are Nun and Kof. Here's what that represents. The Hebrew letter of Nun. Let me get it. We finna get into this. This message to me is going to be a message to the mothers. It could also be to men who actually love their women or men who love women, but it's gonna be to the mothers and to the women. I don't want to exclude anyone. It's to the women, period. Okay. Hebrew card. Could you please let me know? Here we go. So let me go back real quick because I forgot to mention this, but this is what happened in my last reading. I mean, it was a reading that I wound up doing. Let me make sure I can hear myself though. No sound. It should be sound right now. Hold on, let me cut this down before I blast myself away. Okay, so we can still hear. Great. I almost got nervous. So I had started that live off with showing this rune. This is a rune, and the word on this rune is warrior. I don't know if you guys can see that. Warrior. And the symbol for the rune is an arrow. That had taken me on a little trip in the scriptures that talked about first I went to the word arrow and I was getting this image of a person aiming a bow and arrow. Okay. And I talked about what arrows kind of mean to me. Arrows deal with direction. They deal with warfare. They deal with a target. They deal to me also with strategy. Okay. So they are also like tools for spiritual warriors or warriors in general. Then the biblical scripture of children being like arrows in the quiver came up. Okay. Now, I also talked about the quiver. The quiver is like a sack, a bag. Arrows also talk about guidance and direction, or they can. So, anyway, let's get into the Hebrew, the letters. So, in Q, it deals with noon. Here's noon, and here's Q. And as we're going through these letters, I'll bring the Hebrew cards out. But noon represents a sprouting seed. And it means to continue, air, life, or even sun. Now, just in case you don't remember what word we're studying right now, in tonight's word study with spirituality speaking, we are looking into the word for female. Female. We are currently in one of the root words connected, and that is in Q, which are just two Hebraic letters, N and Q. This is the N, noon, it represents a seed, and air, continuing. It means life, and it also indicates a sun. We're going somewhere, I promise. Ko. This is the letter. It is sun at the horizon. The sun at the horizon. And here's what that means. Time, circle, condense. Remember, we're talking about the root word right now for female. So something that could come across as contradictory already is how they have here that noon means a sun. That is not entirely accurate. It also deals with, obviously, the female. Okay, so of course, sons and daughters should be here. Don't know why it's not, but the sun is here. Then you have sun, as in the celestial body, at the horizon. This talks about time, a circle, and condense. Now, that's important to me because I understand that a long-standing symbol for Mother Goddess is a circle. That's important and significant even when I was going into the biology aspect that kind of brought a lot of this out for me and helped me to understand the concept of a mother god because I had asked God, I said, okay, what's going on with women? Why are they so badly mistreated? The answer that started to come in was I was then instructed to look into a cell. Look at a cell. I then learned that a cell is the smallest living organism that exists on its own. Okay. Fully functional, fully capable of supporting some type of life, has everything it needs on the inside. When they got me there, and I'm looking into the definition of a cell and all that other kind of stuff and what a cell is made up of and da 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 da, they called it a mother cell. And then they also said that mother cells duplicate themselves and replicate themselves, and what those are called are daughter cells. That was important. A cell is a circle. And then it's a series of circles. Circle, 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 circle. Okay, anyway, moving on. So this continuity and this continuation in the circle, mother, moving forward. When I think about this Kof and time, they are the keepers. They're the guardians of this. Now, with a cell, the mother cell is the guardian. Nothing can get in or out without her allowing. All right, moving on. Okay. So NQ means to suckle. Suckle breast. It also means innocent. It says this, the pictograph Noon is a picture of a seed and represents the sons of the next generation. The Kof is a picture of the sun at the horizon and the drawing in of light. Combined, these mean child drawn in, the bringing in and holding close of an infant to the breast. So this is what NQ stands for. We are looking into the words and root words for the word female. I got to keep saying that. because I don't know when people may come in and out of the video. All right. The next meaning of NQ could mean a bowl or innocent, where the infant suckles. Innocent is a state of innocence as an infant. Innocent, guiltless, quit, blameless, clean, or clear. Now hold on. Something is coming to me right now as I'm reading this. Y'all remember how some doctrines teach that we're born in sin and shaped in iniquity, which in essence make us guilty of something that we need to be already forgiven for, even though we're okay, moving on. Anyway, we're talking about females here and we're also talking about children. All right. So that's that word. The next word that I had to look into, I don't even know how I got from 1318. I don't know. I'm not sure how I got to this next part, but in my notes I have NATS, which means to despise, provoke, abhor, blaspheme. And then I also have NB. So we're going to go look at that. I brought those out too because I knew it was coming. So we have noon and we have the Hebrew letter bait or bait, and it means the house or tent. It also means, no, it's a symbol. The house, the symbol is the tent or the house, but it represents and it means house, family, inside, or in. And remember, noon means a sprouting seed. So the letters N, B together, in essence, mean continue the house, heir of the family, life inside, son, and in. So from there, what I wound up getting from that was um, the seed inside, right? The seed is inside. This is where my mind went. And then even in my notes for NB, I have here fruit hides or fruit hides the seed in it. Seed inside. This word means fruit, prophecy, or to flourish. And it is connected to the nature of the female and the feminine. Okay? Remember, we're talking about the woman. And I was asking God questions about why things are happening to women and why they have been happening to women. I don't know what it all means, but I'm just saying, like, this is where spirit had wound up leading me. So, one, blasphemy, not to say that it doesn't happen to anybody else, but it is heavily connected to female energy and the woman. Now, moving on, we have noon, bait, yod, aleph, and hay. NBYAH, Nabiya. Strong's 5031, and that's just another word for prophetess. NBA, that's an actual prophet. And it means the fruits or a fruit from the inside of man and knowledge of something that is not known by just the five senses. These are the definitions of this word. Now, the actual word for female, we have the letters N, Q, B, H as the root word, nekaba, and that is represented in the Strongs by 5347, also 5344. This is what this word means. Listen to this. This almost took me out. I already made a live on this one where it talks about the blasphemy of women or something like that. Female blasphemy, something like that. So here's what it means. The word for female means to puncture, to perforate with more or less violence, to designate or specify, libel, appoint, blaspheme, bore, curse, express with holes, name, pierce, strike through. And it also means sexual form. There were so many ways that my mind began to work when I first saw to puncture. Just that alone, I was like, yeah, I can see how that's a true statement. Women's reputation, the conversation of a woman has been punctured. Liable has been spoken against the woman. If you ask me, according to the so called Bible, since Genesis, there was an all out attack on Mother Goddess right there in the book when they said that she listened to a snake. First of all, when they made the snake evil, let's talk about that. But when they said that this woman listened to a snake and caused her husband supposedly to sin against this God, that's where the liable happened. Hold on, y'all. This is giving me a headache. So now I gotta take it out. Baby. Come on. Let freedom ring, hon. My. But I loved it because it says love. So I really love it. I love. But yeah, so they have poked holes in our shoot. If you ask me, in our very existence, poked holes in what what we're designed to do, what we're here for, our power, our authority. Okay? Hold on, you guys. Excuse me. They also cursed us in Genesis, though we were not the only ones, but they did. Okay. And we are literally excuse me. Don't try to cut up. We are the species of the humans that our sexual reproductive organ is a hole. And it is like, a hole inside. Also, our seed we hold inside, we carry inside. So anyway, I digress. Moving on. From there, I went into this other word, um, Nikkei, I think it says, or Nikkei, or something, child. That means it's in the Strong's. It's 5352. That means clean and pure. 532 is NQH, to be or make clean. So I already read that one. I don't know if I read it in this one, but I think I did. Okay, from that one, we went to 5353, which is pronounced Nakota or Nakeda or something like that. And that is a female form of 5348. In the sense of being marked for distinction, it is a temple servant, a female temple servant. This is what a Nakota or Nakeda is. It also means to mark by puncturing or branding. It means spotted or speckled. Now, we are still talking about females and the women. I told y'all the word was always in the woman. From that conversation and from me sharing with you guys that information, um, I was led to go into looking into the root word for Eve. Because in the Bible, which is a lot of my foundation, and whether people ever admit it or not, it's a lot of you guys' foundation too, for the creation story and our roles and all this kind of stuff. Well, in the Bible, the Hebrew name for Eve is not Eve, it is Kawa. So we went to go look up Kawa. In looking up Kawa, we went to the root word. So that is CH is the root word of Kawa. CH. I'm going to go see if I can just find that in our Hebraic letters first, and then I'm going to go look in one of the lexicons and see if we can just find it. Give me a minute. Here is the CH. And IN, it would be this. CHU and hey. So let me find. It would probably be Aleph and hey. Aleph and hey. So these cards are going to show us the just the basic root word of the name that is in Hebrew for Eve. So let me see if I can find that in the Bible app here. One, so I can show it to you guys, and then two, so it'll be my guide. Eve. And what everything that I'm mentioning can be fact checked. All right. Let me hurry the heck up. All right. Mother of all living. Here we go. So here we go. In the Strong's, I'm gonna pull that out. Let's go get that real quick. Listen, this is the stuff that I do for fun. So the number is 2332. Okay, we here. 2332. Here it is. Found it. Let me show y'all on here. I hope y'all can see too. I don't know if y'all can see, but I hope you can. All right. So now, let me go to the book. In the book, Hava 2331 is where I just went up to. It is a primitive root and it is composed of 2324 and 2421, and it means to live. By implication, to declare or to show. My God. To declare or to show. So before I move forward, the way that the way that things are declared and or shown in women is through speaking. It is through speaking. Okay. To me, that is the reason why our voice is stifled so much. It is the reason why, we're like always told to be quiet. That's one of the biggest ways that we have to guide and to instruct is by this declaration, this ability to do that. Mind you, it says to live, right? In scripture, it teaches that even though, it says that Adam was formed and all this kind of stuff of the dust of the earth, the scripture still teaches that this being didn't become a living soul. Okay. Until Mother God breathed into him. I call it Mother God because even that concept to declare and to show, that's wisdom. And that in the Bible is what anybody who is said respects or honors or fears God. Okay. Fear means to respect, it means to reverence, it means to honor. It is not about necessarily being scary. It's just respect and a great deal of it. To fear the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. To respect the master, because Lord means master, authority, ruler. So to fear the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. Moving on. This is the reason why this conversation, in my opinion, is important. Because people have been thinking that they're praising God, praising the Lord, and they're referring to this male, masculine energy the whole time, absolutely disrespecting God in the same breath because they disrespect and dishonor women and the woman. Moving on. Before I move on, let's keep going. So kava means to live. It also means to declare or to show. 2332, which is the word that it's Eve's real Hebraic name, which let me also preface this. The word for name in Hebrew is Shem, and it means character, behavior, reputation. So what something is known by, what something is known for, the character traits that it exhibits, that is a thing's name. Moving on. This means life giver. Kawa means life giver. So, life giving, a living place, an encampment, or even a village. All of these things are encompassed in the word kava or kawa. So, the reason why that is significant is because where I was getting ready to go points to this same understanding, a camp. Mind you, this is still connected to the woman, still connected to the word female. Somehow. So CH is connected to women. That if you don't take away anything yet, when it comes to this aspect, this prefix is directly associated with women. Okay. CH or KH, it may look like KH. Okay, but that's the Ket and Noon. So let's get what Ket and Noon means. Here's Ket, Chet, CHET. It is shown like this. It is symbolized by the 10th wall, and it means to divide, half, separation, or outside. What Spirit gave me in the last live that didn't have any sound, which is my motivating force for this live, they made me understand that mother is in the DNA. That tent wall looks like a ladder, which looks like the DNA. Jacob's ladder could also very much so be pointing to DNA, but I digress. And what does DNA do? It, um, the way it is formulated is because it divides itself, it separates itself, and it's constantly changing itself and regrouping. And this is the life. Moving on, remember the mother of all living, Eve, Kawa, in her first initial, CH or KH, we see she represents the tent wall. And this is about division and having and separation and being outside versus inside. We have the wa or the va, which means it's a tent peg used to secure the tent in place in the ground. This is all the letters in Mama's name, in the life giver's name. Represented by this symbol here that reminds me of a Y. It says secure, hook, add, and. So already we're seeing that she both divides, separates, okay, have, and also secures, hooks, adds. Aleph, representing the E or the A in Kawa, that's represented by the head of an ox. And it literally means the power, strength, the leader. And the letter K, which would be like our equivalent of H, man with hands raised. This meaning is, it means to behold, reveal, look, and thee. Now, just that letter points to the concept of declaring a matter or showing a matter, right? That is about revelation. Anyway, these are just the roots of Kawa, the mother of all living. They said she represents a city or a town or a small village. So, CHEN, Khan, which is the letters Ket and Noon, the tent wall and the seed, the tent wall and the seed. So dividing the seed, that's not it, Noon here. The divide half separation of the seed. This is how we continue life. This is how life happens, the seed dividing within itself. Moving on. Creates the camp wall, the camp wall, which continues, divide, continues. It also represents beauty. This is the beauty of life, this division that continues to happen over and over again. It also represents a nomad's camp, which consists of many family tents. Now, the reason why that's exciting to me is because that points back. That points back, you guys, to the video, the live that I just got through doing, where we were answering the question of, is there one God? The answer is no. Our lifestyle, our lives are living proof of the fact that there is not just one God. Okay? It says, a nomad's camp consists of many family tents. So a camp, which is directly symbolic to mother and God, it is formed by many family tents. I hope somebody's picking up what I'm putting down. Moving on. It says, which make up a clan camp, placed circular, forming a continuous wall surrounding the camp. I'm talking to you guys about the woman. I'm talking to you guys about females. I'm talking to you guys about Mother Goddess, the feminine female principle of God, which is the first, which is the supreme. So whenever we're talking about the most high God, I'm trying to share with you guys what that God looks like. It's the woman. The circle is the first symbol of Mother God. So I have started referencing her because I've been referencing so-called Father God this whole time, who is a later depiction of God. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. I have a book that I showcased in the live where Darius is on, which is what initially sparked my first live of the night. It's called Signs and Symbols. And in that book, it shared how Mother Goddess was the first form of God worship known to mankind, and that one of the world's universal symbols to represent Mother God was first a curvy woman with a big belly and breasts, and also second, the circle, representing birth and rebirth and the continuity of life. And here we are seeing it being replicated in the way that families used to, one, be confederate with one another. And this was how they protected as well. There were camps, and then there was a wall around the entire camp. And the families' tents are what created the wall. We were each other's support and protection. I'm going to keep on moving. Okay. And this was considered beauty and beautiful. Beauty is within the wall. It is the family clan, a place of freedom, compassion, and beauty. The tent, an encampment of tents, supported by the poles. Anyway, we're talking about mother. We're talking about women. Remember, for those who are not aware, this letter right here in the Hebrew, this letter in the Hebrew, bait, it means it's the Hebraic word for daughter. It's the Hebraic word for daughter, which is why I was questioning why they only have son when it comes to the seed. I digress. Bait is the word for daughter, but it represents the house. It represents the tent. It represents the family. And for me, the way that my mind works, that connected me to the house in astrology. This is probably the reason why, okay, my mind is going so many different places. All right. So to me, this is the reason why a lot of times people felt like the woman's primary domain should be a house, simply because, like, literally, she is the house. Mama is the house. That's for real in multiple ways, right? When we go back to biology, cellular biology, mama is the house. The cell in and of itself is called a mother. And when it divides and separates and reconfigures itself, it's called the daughter. And inside is that is going to eventually become male or a man. when it comes to the human species and even animal species, the males, all of that is comprised and housed safely within the mother on multiple levels. Okay? So even when the mom comes together with a mutated, changed, adaptable version of herself in the form of a man, she's still experiencing herself. Oh my God, I think I'm going too far, 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 far. She's still experiencing a version of herself and replicating herself again when she becomes pregnant. And she incubates and carries again from the inside out herself. I digress. And this is beautiful. This is beauty. The beauty of the camp to give or show beauty or grace or mercy to another, to one another. So, this root word of CH, which is Kawa, the mother, life, life giving energy, is also, it forms the word for the camp, which is also the word for what is beautiful and beauty. So, in essence, it is saying that family is beautiful. And to have the support of family is beautiful. To have compassion and to have grace with one another, this is beauty. This is family. This is also God. That is the reason, in my opinion, why there is a direct attack on families. And they're getting everybody. They're hitting the mother, who is the chief, who's really the head. They're getting the daddy. They're getting the children. Moving on. The other thing that makes the camp beautiful, to free, to be able to freely give, to work or do an action without wages or without cause, mercy and or refuge. The next word that's connected to this root of CH, remember, life giver, life giving, Hawa, is Kodesh. Kodesh, which means monthly, lunar. And the Strong's Concordance is on page 63. So let me find that and see what they give us there. Remember, for those who are still with me, for the person that's still with me, first of all, hi and thank you. And then also, we're talking about the woman here. We're talking about the female. Okay. 68 is what we're looking for. 68, page 68. Lord, let me get to it kind of quick. Because I don't want to bore you with this. Oh, but I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Here we go. Moving on. We are finally at page 68 and we are looking for. Oh, it's because that's wrong. It's page 63. I was sure lost. I didn't see it. Okay. Okay. H3548 is what we're looking at next. So I don't think Kodesh is right. Kodesh is not in this one. It might be though, but not. It's not this particular spelling. I should have stayed in the CHs, but I'm gonna read what I found on page 63. Um, I'm looking now at KHN or Kaf He Nun, which in English means Kohen or Kohan, and it means one officiating. It means a priest, a chief, a ruler, prince, principal, or officer. Now, keep in mind that everything that they try to say is just a male thing. Understand it's not. I'm going to tell you that now. It's not just a man thing. If there's a male principal, you have to know that there is a female principal to this because the female and feminine principal is actually first. So we're in page 60. We're at page 63. Here it is, found it 3548. But wait, let me go up a little bit further. I'm going to go up to 3547, and it is pronounced Kohan, and it means to mediate in religious services, to officiate as a priest, to put on regalia, to deck, be or do the office, or execute the minister in the priest's office. Now, I was led to channel that in the last live as well. That, and I don't even know if it was in a live, whether it was just me talking to myself. But basically, what I was being reminded of by the Holy Spirit of wisdom was that it is righteous for us to dress a certain way if you are in the office of a priest or priestess. Like, you are called to dress a certain way. Now that might be up to you and your spiritual team, but what I'm saying is looking away is significant and important to you. So, for example, on one particular day, you may be called to literally wear a certain kind of color. You may be called to put something on your head or not. You may be called to wear a certain fabric. You may be called to wear certain accessories, whether you are masculine or feminine or a male or a female. And there is nothing wrong with that. To be called to wear a certain type of garment, to me, is literally a a mark, a sign of someone who walks in the office of priest or minister, servant. Moving on. So a little bit earlier, I did mention when I was trying to explain in the last video about whether or not there was just one God. I was talking about Joseph, the one who had been gifted the coat of many colors by his father because he was the favored child. Okay. And I was talking about how I felt that spirit revealed to me that that is how a lot of the world's nations see certain melanated groups of people and why we are hated all around the world because many of us are the choice people. We're the choice folks. So other nations of people that envy that there's a hatred that has formed. And then there is a confederacy that they even have with one another to bring us low, to make us feel mighty bad. Okay, moving on. To humble us, if you will. But really, that's just unfortunately them projecting what they feel about themselves onto us because they know better. Moving on. 3548 Kohen. Kohen. One officiating a priest, also by courtesy, an acting priest, a chief, a ruler, a principal officer. From there, in the ancient Hebrew lexicon on page 149, I was led just to look into the Hebraic letters of Kaf and Nun. So let me pull out Kaf. Nun is already out here. Let's pull out Kaf and see what Kaf means. Oh my God, this is super long, but I apologize if I'm boring you guys, whoever this is. So here's Kaf. This is the Hebrew. It is symbolized by the hand, open palm of hand, but it means to bend, to open, to tame, to allow. The noon represents the sprouting seed. Continue, air, life, or sun. So, in essence, this could be said that it represents the bending to continue, to open an air, to tame life, to allow a sun. Or this is the one who allows, uh, 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 this is the one who allows for life to continue, allows an air. KN though means to stand. It also means root. It means sure in an abstract sense. Okay. The opening of a seed. A tree can only stand tall or stand firm because of the roots that support it. This also points to the mother. This points to mom. In a sense of standing firm, standing as a support, standing also as what is sure, what continues life, what gives support to life, right? A mom definitely does that. In fact, I hate to say it in this manner, but in a certain way, only a mother could do that. When it comes to the roots in the form of a woman, that happens with like the placenta and things like the umbilical cord. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'm being led to go back. I want to say to the placenta. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the way that a placenta looks, and while some people might be grossed out by it, if you can get past all the blood, which is still also a sign of mama, mother, because that's also the life of a thing, right? Water is also connected. Anyway, anyway, um, when you look at the placenta, there is a tree. There's a tree inside of the placenta when you look at the way that all the veins, or i.e., root, grow and are shaped. It looks like a tree. So I just thought I'd put that out there. But yeah, we're talking about the woman. We're talking about the woman. We're talking about mother, mother God, the feminine principle of life. Now, life, as in, yes, breathing in and out, but life also in thought, in word, in deed, in strategies. Wisdom is mother. Understanding in the scripture is said to be wisdom's sister. This is still with the prefix or the root word for KN. It means base, the base that provides support, as well as a person's home or family. It could deal with the foot, it could deal with a state, office, or an actual place, stalk, or the base and the support of a plant. This also, the Kohen also deals with ministering, decking, adorning, executing the office. And KWN means to support, flatter, flattering with a title, to set something firmly in place by word or physically. Listen, when I saw KWN, it made me think about crown for some reason. I don't know why. It made me think about the crown and the crown chakra, but that doesn't have nothing to do with it because that's really pronounced kun, kun, and it means to be erect, to set up, to establish, fix, prepare, or apply. But I will tell you what word that sounds very close to: the kundalini. The kundalini. And let me tell you, that's mother. That's mother fire being activated in us. Like a serpent, she moves up the spine. First, she's coiled down, wrapped around, and then she moves up and stands straight up in us. Anyway, I digress. Kun means to be erect, to set up in great variety of applications. Whether literally it means establish, fix, prepare, or apply, or figuratively it means appoint, render sure, proper, or prosperous. It means to confirm, direct. It deals with the idea of faithfulness. It talks about fashioning. I don't know any of you guys if y'all read your Bible or whatever, and let's talk about this in the form of the story of how Christ is said to be born. It says that he was fashioned. It also use that same word when Job is being ministered to, if I'm not mistaken, or Jeremiah. I'm sorry, I'm a little rusty, but it could have been Jeremiah when he was the depressed prophet and God was encouraging him. Mother God, I knew you when you were fashioned in your mother's womb. Anyway, fashioned deals with this idea of establishing, creating, commanding, appointing, right? Now, I'm going to talk about that real quick because there is one of my favorite books from the apocryphal book, which is known as the Gnostic book. But I absolutely believe that it's inspired. But anyway, I digress. The Wisdom of Solomon teaches about how those who are called friends and prophets of God are literally born with the Holy Spirit of wisdom in the womb. If you honestly ask me, I truly believe that the Holy Spirit may very well be with any being that is conceived and goes from seed to actual manifestation. But if I would just start to say, bare minimum, she's there at the beginning. She is who is teaching you, telling you everything that's going to happen to you before you get here, and also the one who locks this information away until an appointed time. She is the timekeeper, like I said before in this video, way earlier in the video where we had this and we had noon. She is the keeper of time. Moving on. She is the support of all that are living. Fashion, fasten, firm, be fitted, be fixed. She frames, be meet, ordain, order, perfect. Make preparation, prepare self, provide, make provision, be or make ready, be or make right, set aright, set fast, set forth, be stable, establish or establish, stand, tarry, and very deed. These are the words that are connected to the kun energy. And that word, which I told you guys is connected to the kundalini energy. Okay. Now that was following the prefix of KHN, which I shared with you guys is the office of a minister or a priest. All right, moving on. Going back to this other word that's directly connected to the word for female, we have NQQ, which is the Hebrew word for breast. Breast. I would say that this is important, and here's why. The Hebrew letter for the Q that I'm seeing is this. Remember the time, the circle, the condensed, the keeper of the time. That's in the breast. Children suckle at the breast of their mother. It also talks about cleavage, okay? But, which is a cleft in rocks. Mountains are also said to Hebraically be associated with women as well. So, moving on from that, in a sense, it's all connected to this root that is connected to the female. So, I wanted to say that. Now, before I let y'all go, I'm going to talk about the word echad because that's the Hebrew word for one. And I didn't get to bring that out in my last video where I was answering the question that one of my Facebook friends asked me, which was, is there, what was it? Isn't there only one God? Excuse me, I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. The answer is no. Let's go get the word echad and see what letters 0703. And then I'm going to be wrapping this up. So I'm being led to Genesis chapter 1, verse 9, where we first see the word one. It's H259. It is echad, a numeral from H258, but properly it means united. That is one. Or as an ordinal, it means first. A or alike. It can also mean alone. Hold on, let me go back. Oh, that's not it. It could also mean alone, altogether. It could mean and, any, anything, a piece, a certain, daily, each one, 11, every, you, first, highway, or a man. It could also mean once, one, only, other, some, and together. Now, I think that's wild that it could mean all of those different things, including the one thing that people really think, which is that there is just only one God. But the truth is, you guys, that's why I did say in the other video that the answer could be yes and no. And it's because God is plural. It's made up of you, me, your mother, your father, their parents. That's what makes up God. Even the animals make up God. The vegetation, everything that was created, that all represents God. And so if you don't just see one thing outside, then that's that's how simple I make it. If you can't just look outside and only see one thing, the answer to that then would be that no, there's more than one God. But even when we talk about how God made mankind in their image, they said they made male and female. So just the simple fact that to this day, as we know it in nature, in the nature of the so-called humankind, mankind, there are men and women everywhere. These are the gods. We are the judges. We are the angels. We are supposed to be the ministers. Ministers don't necessarily mean like preaching, but it means we are the ones who are to be of service to one another. Remember when I talked about the idea of the camp and family and how family is to support one another and they are to help protect one another. Remember that the camp is and the family is literally made up of a whole bunch of other families who are united, who come together to support one another. That is God. Okay? So I'm going to end on that note for now. If this was helpful to you in any way, please let me know. Don't be shamed. Don't be shy. Speak to me. Share on in the comments below. Or, yeah, you can also message me. But I digress, guys. This is the end of this live. Peace, love, light, and darkness, which all work together to bring balance and harmony, first within ourselves and then within our world. It was my pleasure to talk about this. This is the type of stuff I love talking about. Okay. Hope some of it made sense or all of it for that matter. Bye, you guys. Have a wonderful night. Let me see. Okay. Good night.